All right, Barrz. I think this is on. Thanks for coming in for our very first podcast. Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how was your first photo shoot? You had your...
Oh man, first photo shoot was super awkward. I felt like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than it looks. So shout out to you.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
It's not easy. You think you just like smile, look at a camera.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's a good experience to have. You get a
For
different
sure.
perspective.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. Yeah.
So how did we first meet? Was what, our sophomore year of college, I think?
I think so.
I don't think I saw you in freshman year.
Yeah, definitely sophomore year through probably a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
What was your first impression?
Impression of you?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this guy's good looking.
I'm
not even kidding. Like, I was like, damn, this is one like good looking Asian man.
Yeah.
And no, I just thought you were super charismatic. Very
really?
nice. Yeah.
I thought I was pretty quiet.
No. You let off that mysterious yet warm vibe.
Oh, okay. Well,
even though you didn't speak much,
yeah.
I could tell you were like a very nice person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's the same for you. I knew you were a bit of a different character because you love to wear Crocs.
Dude, shout out Crocs.
When it was like way out of date, but you still did you, and I really liked that about you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this podcast is generally, the idea is to get a different perspective through the eyes of different artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, and things of that nature. Okay. And you definitely fit that role because you dropped your first song last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. And how was that experience?
It was, I don't know. So it was kind of nerve-wracking, honestly.
Yeah.
So whatever your craft is, whether that's music or shooting photos or movies or film, as a content creator, letting out your first piece of content, letting it free onto the internet is it's a really weird feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
But as nervous as I was, I feel super relieved just taking that, that first step, that first plunge out there and just, releasing my music and overcoming, being so self-conscious about my music. Yeah. So it felt really good, and to see that there are a lot of people
that loved it,
that actually like my music.
Hitting 10K listens on what is it, YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah.
And then almost on Spotify or
SoundCloud. Yeah.
Are you gonna put it on Spotify as well?
I can't put it on Spotify actually.
What is it?
So because it's a remix.
You so it's like copyright?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Since it's an unofficial remix. Yeah, can't put it on Spotify. But definitely in the future when I release original music. Yeah. Definitely on Spotify.
All right. Yeah. What was like the biggest barrier that you have to overcome before you actually posted that? Because I feel like a lot of people. I mean, when I first did like my first blog thing, I was like, I didn't know what to write about, first of all.
True.
And I just didn't know how people would perceive it. And I don't know, that was like the scariest thing for me. So what was like the biggest barrier for you?
For me, definitely the biggest barrier was myself. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't so afraid of what people would think of my music.
Yeah.
It was really more of a personal battle of not finding my music good enough. So as I'm making music, as an artist, you go through this confliction of, is this good enough to be released? Or like, is this even good?
Yeah.
Like one day you'll make a song and you're like, dude, this is so good. And then you'll go to bed and wake up and you'll re-listen to it and you're like, damn, this is so bad. What was I thinking? So, I don't know, I just wasn't satisfied with what I was making, but more and more I'm trying to overcome, like being such a perfectionist and,
That is a problem that we all have.
I
feel like a lot of people are just kind of scared to post things on the internet.
Definitely, it's scary, but I think if you're someone that's pursuing something along these, I don't know, unsafe career options such as music or art.
Yeah.
You're gonna run into that, is this good enough, all the time.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you just have to trust your gut, and you just have to go for it.
Yeah.
Like taking that first step into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's out there, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You don't know if people are gonna like it, if they're gonna dislike it, but you just have to overcome yourself and just trust your heart, trust your gut.
Yeah.
And you just gotta do it.
No regrets, right?
Yeah, no regrets really.
Yeah.
I'd say just think less. The more you think, the harder it gets.
Yeah, definitely.
You just can't think. You just gotta go with it.
Yeah. It's definitely true. So how did you start? Like, what made you get into music? What was like did you have a childhood icon that you looked up to in terms of music, or is this just something that you just grew into?
Oh man, I've loved music all of my life. Just listening to music was definitely my biggest hobby.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to rock, early American rock is what my dad always played when I was younger.
Really?
So yeah.
Huh.
So
It's very different from the music you make now.
yeah, seriously, yeah. So I seriously grew up listening to, Metallica.
What?
And so many, like, the Beatles.
Okay.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who else?
Yeah, I listened to that a lot.
Yeah,
in middle school.
definitely, like, rock. And then I'd say Panic at the Disco in middle school. And then when I got to high school, I listened to rap, but it was Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. That album changed my life. I was like, whoa, like, this guy is such an artist. And then I fell in love with hip hop through Kendrick and Drake, actually.
Yeah.
So then I grew up listening to a lot of rock, rap, and then I'd say late high school, early college, all I listened to was EDM, electronic music. So
Wow.
yeah, rave type music. That's what I listen. Yeah, that's what I listen to. So I listen to like everything.
Yeah, that's a whole journey.
But I think at a certain point around maybe sophomore year, end of sophomore year, early junior year of college is when I started. I downloaded this music production program. It's called Ableton. So I just messed around with it. Like I didn't know what I was doing, just like for fun, like tinkering.
Yeah.
And it was just something I did for fun. And then I'd say end of junior year, I realized this is something that I just love doing. Like in between classes, all I would do is make music.
Just make music.
Like put in my earphones, like in between. Sometimes even in class, honestly. Yeah, I'd be in the back, and then like low key, I'd have earphones in, and I'd be making music in like physics class or something. I still passed, but I mean
that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I just loved making music, and more and more, there wasn't a certain moment that I knew, this is what it is. It just like gradually came. Gradually, the feeling came.
That's like the biggest thing though, because I feel like people expect like to find whatever you want to do. You expect it to find like right away or in like one moment.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's never that. It's always gradual and through consistent like effort of trying to find it.
Exactly.
Or pursuing whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, especially if you're early teens, college, early 20s, you're in that life phase of what do I want to do for the rest of my life?
Exactly.
You're trying to figure it out, but you just gotta try things and trust your heart. Really, as cheesy as that sounds, like it's never gonna hit you in like a single moment.
Yeah.
But putting yourself out there and listening to your heart is something that I've been trying to live by.
Yeah. That's important, cause, especially with like if you're growing up in an Asian community or like Asian household in general, you're pressured a lot by your parents to pursue certain jobs
For sure.
or pursue certain paths that you're not really attached to, and that pressure can make you steer away from what you actually enjoy doing on a daily basis and focus on stuff that doesn't really speak to your heart. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so that's important to keep in mind. How do your parents feel about it?
About my music career.
Do they know about it?
So honestly, no, they don't even know about it. I mean, okay, it's like this. I was trying to go to pharmacy school for like the first 3 years of college. That's what like my goal was, and my parents knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, they pushed me towards that. They didn't force me, but like it's what I also was pursuing.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's what my parents were expecting me to like do after college, graduate and then go to pharmacy school. But when I realized that I wanted to do music for the rest of my life, I tried having a talk with my parents, and I told them that I was gonna do music.
Yeah.
And they're like, stop talking crazy, like just no, that's not happening. And even to this day, they don't want me to pursue music. But also it's because I've no proof of anything. I haven't shown them anything.
That's a big thing.
It's like, imagine you going to your parents and saying, I'm gonna be a millionaire, right? You can say anything, but words do nothing. You have to show and speak with your actions.
Yeah. You have to have something substantial, especially with Asian parents. They're not gonna believe you if you just, I want to speak my heart. That doesn't work.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need results. That's like the biggest thing.
So yeah, even if it's even non-Asian parents, like whether you have strict parents or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But definitely the Asian community, you feel that pressure. You know, like, you know, you don't want to disappoint the family. You don't want to dishonor the family.
You're disowned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in the process of, you know, starting my journey, and hopefully sometime in the near future I'll have something. I'll have something to show for.
It's not hopefully. We'll definitely make it.
I'm definitely gonna make it happen, but who knows when.
How about your friends? How do your peers feel about that? Because I'm sure, having been in school, especially in a major, you're pre-farm, so there are a lot of studious kids that kind of put their heads down and just stare at books all day.
Definitely.
How do they feel about it, or your friends in general?
So, my friends, I'd like to say that. I'd like to say 70% of my friends graduate, or 70% of my friends went to college, and then out of that 70%, I'd say almost half of my friends are pursuing higher education, such as going to graduate school.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of my friends are all still pursuing education to this moment.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say I'm the only one amongst my friend group that's pursuing something non-traditional, like a non-traditional career path.
Yeah.
So it's hard being, you know, like going on your own path and not having, you know, like sometimes people don't understand exactly like what it is you're trying to do and like why you're trying to do the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
And it sometimes gets stressful, and it might be hard when you feel like you're going on this journey alone. But luckily I have a close group of friends. Like my closest friends actually have known that I've been wanting to pursue music for a while, and they're like the backbone. They definitely support me, and they're just, you know, like there for me, supporting whatever my dreams are. So definitely having people that support you is really important, but also surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, I feel like, is very important, no matter what field you're in. Yeah. So
that's true.
Isaac, even though I'm pursuing music, he's pursuing, you know,
whatever I'm pursuing.
What he's pursuing.
Too many things at once.
A lot of things. But
yeah,
even, you know, you and I were pursuing different things, but in the grand scheme of things, they're
pretty similar.
Very similar. So
similar, especially in the sense that it's not super traditional.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you on the fact that you do need to surround yourself with people that only think like you, but also that are kind of a few steps ahead of you. So I work with a brand called 8 Kings NY, and like being around those kids or those guys, they're just super ambitious, and anything they envision in their mind, they just make it into reality, which is crazy. They just have no fear. They just go after whatever they want to go after, and it's not just them. There's a lot of people out there like that, and it's super important especially if you're trying to go on a non-traditional path, to surround yourself with these types of people, because you can always kind of lean on them for their advice, or just watching them hustling every day nonstop just gets you motivated and keeps you going, keeps you grounded as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, you got to have reaching out to people that are in your field that are already doing it is super crucial for you, starting your career.
Yeah,
because when you're starting off, like you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
You having a mentor or someone that's already doing it.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a lot faster to do it that way instead of trying to hit your head against a brick wall.
Exactly.
And figuring everything out on yourself, that's just wasting a lot of time. And why do that when you have access, especially nowadays with like social media? You can literally reach anyone as long as they're open to it.
Exactly.
Not everyone's gonna reply to you, but you have the potential to reach out to anyone that's like many steps ahead of you that you can learn from. So
absolutely.
That's super important.
Absolutely. Shout out social media. Shout out social media. Seriously, like,
yeah,
I've become internet friends with so many people
so
that are
true.
already doing music.
Yeah.
And like, you might think that it's weird to like contact someone that you've never met, and like you would never imagine that someone that's on the other side of the country or of the world could become your friend, really. But social media makes that possible.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So my final question is, what do you think is needed, especially in the Asian and immigrant family, household, community, to allow more room for paths that aren't strictly your traditional 4 years of college and then getting a job? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, some people like love their lives, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think there needs to be a better support system for people that aren't super suited to those kind of lifestyles.
Yeah. If I had the perfect answer to it, I'd be doing it right now. So
we can just shoot an answer.
Honestly, so for like the Asian American community, I feel like what's hard is there's this expectation of what you should be doing, whether that's career-wise, and when you're faced with these kind of expectations, it's hard to branch off from the norm. So I feel like what we need right now in this time period is more people just doing it and going on that less traveled path.
Yeah.
Because right now there just aren't that many people that are actually, that are well known.
Yeah.
So the more people actually pursue it, and the more that people, have courage and just trust their heart and go on that other path, that will just inspire, other people to do that as well. Like, it'll snowball.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'd say an example would be, I'd say 88 Rising. So they're curating Asian artists. Some are rappers and some are singers.
Yeah.
Like Rich Chiga or Rich Brian now.
Yeah.
And Joji. Yeah. So putting them in the spotlight and having more people being exposed to these artists that are Asian we don't realize it right now, but these artists that are currently popping off right now are inspiring, the kids that are watching them growing up.
Definitely.
The kids that are just finding out what YouTube is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In this day and age.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like, you find about YouTube maybe at like age 4 nowadays. You grow up having a iPhone X straight out the womb now.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in regards to expectations, I think it's not only expectations from outside your own head, but it's also inner expectations. Because honestly, going down this path is it's never linear. You're always gonna have more downs than ups. It's always gonna be up, down, up, down.
Always.
So kind of like, because like, not saying that school is necessarily linear, but it's definitely, a lot of things are kind of already set for you, so you just have to kind of follow the path, and it's pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. In certain cases, not all cases. Yeah. But with something like this, there's nothing guaranteed, and there's always an opportunity to fail. But I think that's the beauty of it, because people don't learn anything if you're always succeeding in everything you do, and you like accomplish whatever you want on your first try, and it definitely makes your experience a lot more meaningful, and definitely put a lot more heart into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that gray area of not knowing what you're doing is scary, but it's so needed, and it's really something that you should look at in kind of a positive manner. Mm-hmm. Like when you're in that stage, going back to not knowing what you want to do with life, or when you're first starting off with a non-traditional career. Yeah. At the beginning stages, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know if I can make it. You have all these doubts. Yeah. But when you have those doubts, the more you do it, the more you realize, this is what I have to do. Yeah. Even though you're surrounded in, all these thoughts, like these internal thoughts of and internal struggles, the more you go with it, or for me personally, going off my experiences, the more I've gone through this path, even though I'm going through the downs, at my lowest points, that's when I remember, you know what, like, I have to do this. And that's when I have that certainty in my heart, like, you know what, I have to keep going. Yeah. When I feel like, sometimes I feel like this is never gonna work. I'm never gonna make it. But when I have those thoughts, I always come back and I always think, you know what, I have to make it work, and I can do this. Yeah. So if things went smoothly all the time, then you wouldn't have as much. I'd like to say you wouldn't have that drive, that vigor to succeed.
Yeah, you're not as hungry.
Yeah. So I think you should welcome that gray area of uncertainties and doubts and struggles with open arms and overcome them. Wow. You can do it.
What a great way to end the final question.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you for taking the time to do this. I know you're probably working on your next song. When is your next song coming out?
Next song? Good question.
Good question.
Good question. It goes like this. I always say, all right, I'm gonna release a song next week, and then next week comes, you're like, you know what? It's next week actually, next week. But I'm aiming to shoot for a song this week. This upcoming week is
definitely. We're gonna look forward to it and get even more listens this time, right?
Hopefully, yeah, that's the plan.
We'll make sure to plug in your first song that you put out.
Click the link below.
Wherever it's gonna be. Somewhere. Wherever. And you can check it out. Support Barrz. And thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. Seriously, appreciate it.